right, so we're getting hooked up to YouTube, and just so you know, you're going to hear a little bit of feedback once we get hooked up. And then once we start hearing that feedback, there we go. All right, so we are now live streaming. All right, and we are right at about 10 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Good morning and welcome to the 2025 evaluation meeting for the Firearms and Archery Range Recreation Program. I'm Karen Edwards with the Washington State Recreation and Conservation Office, and I will be moderating today's meeting. With me is a team of volunteers who are serving as evaluators for this grant program, where nonprofits and one state agency are requesting funds to develop and enhance firearm and archery ranges and facilities in Washington State. These volunteers will score and rank project proposals, and the preliminary ranked list will be made available to the Recreation and Conservation Funding Board in April with a request for their approval in anticipation of potential funding. To learn more about the Recreation and Conservation Office and grants available for recreation in Washington State, please visit our website at www.rco.wa.gov. And we will start with our first presentation, which is the Linden Shotgun Club. We've got Larry Flynn here. Good morning, Larry. I will go ahead and start your presentation. And then I will hand controls over to you. So Larry, you should have them now, and I can see your cursor. So you can advance your slides with the arrows at the lower left corner, or you can use your arrow forward and back on your keyboard.
Okay.
All right, and it looks like you are set. I'm going to hand it over to you. Just a reminder, you have 12 minutes to present, and then we'll have about 8 minutes for a Q&A session. And I'm going to hand it over to you, and good luck.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Larry Flynn, and I am the president of the Linden Shotgun Club. Here with me today is also Ken Higginbotham. He's a past president of the club, and he's our point person for this FARR grant application process. We appreciate the opportunity to share with you essential elements of our 2024 FARR grant application. The Linden Shotgun Club is shown in this drone shot of the club. The club is located about 2 miles northwest of the city of Linden in northwestern Washington, near the junction of West Badger Road and Weidkamp Road. It lies within the Berthoudsen Parklands owned by the city of Linden. We have a recreational lease with the city, which has been in place for many years. We are surrounded on 3 sides by an agricultural lease. East of the agricultural lease is one held by a local tractor club, which in turn subleases some of their area to a model airplane club. LSC activities do not impact either the tractor club or the airplane club. Our lease comprises 17 acres. For purposes of shotfall containment, the lease contains an easement that extends our boundaries for an additional 900 feet in all directions from any shooting point when shooting is underway. 900 feet is, of course, the NRA range manual requirement relative to shotfall. LSC hosts only shotgun sports. The club contains 6 combined skeet and trap fields. The westernmost field has, over the past few years, been converted to serve as a very popular 5-stand game, which includes 12 machines throwing variety targets from a variety of locations. Shooting sports have occurred on the site since the 1940s, when the Berthoudsen lands were willed to the city of Linden by the Hans Berthoudsen family to be used primarily as recreational opportunities for the citizens of the city and surrounding Whatcom County. Berthoudsen Park includes some timbered area east of LSC. The non-timbered lands were used for agricultural purposes beginning in the 1880s. The skeet and trap houses, the target shed, and the restroom shower facilities were all constructed in the mid-1980s. LSC has been greatly blessed by several FARR grants beginning in 2011. The clubhouse shown here was originally hauled onto the site as a dilapidated chicken coop, but the great building that we enjoy now was extensively remodeled through a FARR grant received primarily for that purpose. The other major positive impact of the FARR grant program to LSC has been the purchase of 24 target throwing machines of a variety of sorts, allowing us high reliability of operations, wireless operation of those machines, reduced operating costs of the games, and an increased variety of activities. The various structures constructed on the site in the 1980s were built using quite high quality materials. While maintenance of all the facilities has occurred, such as repair of breakage and painting, 40 years have passed since the original work was carried out. This proposal to the RCO is intended to allow major improvements of 3 types of structures at the club. These are the target shed, the skeet houses, and the sidewalks across the site. The 24 by 30-foot building that we refer to as the target shed serves as a storage facility and as a maintenance shop. Its concrete floor is still in good shape, but as you can see, the siding is deteriorating rapidly. This is occurring in spite of periodic painting and patching. We continue to store specialty targets in the building, but we now have a shipping container that holds the standard targets. We do store supplies, our lawnmower, ammunition, and other things in the building. It also includes a workbench for a variety of purposes. The metal roof of the target shed is also deteriorating and needs to be replaced as is shown in this photo. The siding and roof replacement will involve substantial in-kind work by qualified members of the club. The 7 skeet houses are constructed using concrete blocks. They have served us well. However, the grout mortar is deteriorating and needs extensive repair. That means that the grout work has to occur, but substantial paint removal beyond what the weather is causing must be done in order for that work to be completed. The work will prevent rain from seeping into the areas where the target machines are located. As shown in this slide, the capping material that prevents rain from affecting the concrete blocks on the edges of the blocks exposed to weather needs replacement. This will be done through removal of the existing capping material and replacement with larger stone caps. While having 6 fields for shooting activities is great, there are many hundreds of feet of sidewalk on the site. Several portions need repair or replacement. Weather and tree growth are the main culprits. This slide shows one of many areas where sidewalk repairs need to be put in place to prevent accidents from happening and to maintain confidence among users of the club that it is a safe place for recreational shooting sports. This slide shows a location where the sidewalk approaching the restrooms comes up against the pad of the restroom facility. Concrete work to create a slight ramp to facilitate wheelchair access to the restrooms will be carried out. While the work that we are proposing is quite extensive in scope, there will be no extension of existing structures, nor will there be excavation beyond that which has occurred during earlier construction activities at the site. There will be no impact of this work on other leaseholders in Berthelsen Park or on surrounding farms or homesteads. The proposed project will not lead to expansion of site buildings, roads, sidewalks, or any other facilities. The renovation activities proposed under the need and project design criteria will ensure ongoing and trouble-free use of the target shed and skeet houses. Sidewalk repairs will allow safer movement around the site. The proposed renovation activities, other than sidewalk repair, have little direct impact on health and safety of the users of LSC. However, it is important to point out that we have a strong focus on safety that is evidenced by extensive signage and by insistence that shooting activities do not occur without at least 2 range officers in high visibility vests monitoring activities along the firing line. Quotes or estimates from suppliers and contractors for the proposed work are shown on this slide. All the work will be done with a 50-50 match between LSC and RCO. A significant amount of the work on the target shed and the sidewalks will be done by qualified club members. Use of LSC by law enforcement personnel is welcomed. However, because we do not have rifle or pistol capability at the site, law enforcement use for training purposes is not a regular occurrence. Though several of our members are current or retired law enforcement officers, including myself. Use of LSC by those holding concealed carry permits is welcome. Many of our members are concealed carry permit holders. Holders of hunting and fishing licenses are welcomed at LSC. Again, many of our members are enthusiastic hunters, especially of waterfowl and upland game. Many people from the public frequent the club leading up to hunting season to practice up for their hunting experiences. We also host periodic hunter safety courses at the club. We have one scheduled for next week. LSC currently has about 65 individual and family memberships, but the general public is welcome, and we have many frequent users of the facility who come to shoot, but do not become members for a variety of reasons. The public use that we are very proud of is the annual FFA Firearms Safety and Trap shooting hosted at the club on 4 Tuesdays in September and October of each year. Generally, we have at least 100 students from 6 Whatcom County high schools shooting at each of those Tuesdays. LSC is also proud of our Whatcom Claybusters, who are part of the Washington Youth Education and Shooting Sports WAYS program. Several of the coaches for the program are club members. We provide a reduced shooting rate for all youth who come to the club. A generous donor member of the club donates funds to allow that reduced rate to apply to young shooters. LSC hosts one Pacific International Trap Association trap shoot per year, as well as 2 registered Washington State Skeet Association skeet shoots that are attended by shooters from across the state in British Columbia. We also host the WSSSA State Skeet Championship shoot every other year, alternating with the Seattle Skeet and Trap Club. That shoot draws shooters from as far away as Southern California and Montana. And again, we are scheduled to host the state shoot this year. We believe that the proposed work under our FARR grant application will allow us to continue operations through prevention of injuries in the case of the sidewalk work and through prevention of possible calamitous events in the future if the target shed and skeet house work is not carried out soon. Linden Shotgun Club is not designated in a local development plan as having priority, but we receive very strong support from local government, educational entities, and businesses in the area. We draw shooters from as far away as Anacortes on the west to Seattle on the south, and from both the lower mainland and the Okanagan areas of British Columbia, Canada. They in turn help the club and to some extent the local community. That will conclude my presentation, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
All right, thank you so much, Larry. Had 46 seconds to spare. All right, any questions for Larry in order for you to score this project? I'm going to go ahead and just take controls back. If there's any slides that evaluators would like for me to go back to, please let me know. Any questions for Larry? Go right ahead.
Yeah,
Rudy.
Rudy here. Hi, Len. Could you just refresh me on how many hours a week you're open to the public?
We are open on Thursdays in the wintertime from 2 to 5 and in the summertime from 3 to 6. And we are open on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. for public and member shooting. And then the WAYS team uses the club for a couple hours afterwards for their weekly practice.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Rudy. Any other questions for Larry?
I guess that raises a question for me about capacity. When you're open, how many of the stands are being used? Are there waiting lines? Can you just speak to that generally?
Um, Sometimes, certain times of the year, when the weather is nice, there can be short waits. We usually like this time of the year, we'll probably open 3 fields on a Thursday, but we'll open at least 5 on a Saturday so that we don't have any waits or not unusually long waits. Um, and more often now we're opening all 6 fields because our goal is for people not to have to wait to shoot.
Thank you, John. Any other questions for Larry? All right, Larry, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, good to see you. All right, next we have Gig Harbor Sportsman Club. Let me see. I do not see
Hello, this is
Dawn.
Don.
Is Dawn here? Oh, hello, Dawn.
Yeah, I don't see my picture. We want to do video here. Here you go.
There we go. Good morning. All right, Dawn, I will go ahead and hand controls over to you. Let me find you here. There you are. All right, go ahead and you should have controls of the screen now.
Oh, I did something wrong here. What did I do?
So go ahead and move your cursor around. I'll let you know when it shows up here.
I just lost the screen. There it is. Okay,
Okay,
we're
go
ready to
ahead
start.
No, well, go
Okay.
ahead and move. Dawn, you need to move your cursor around a little bit because you don't have control yet. So move your
Okay.
cursor around. Sometimes you have to double click. I'll let you know when it shows up. There we go. So now you have
seeing it.
controls.
Okay, let's go back to the beginning.
Just a reminder, Dawn, you have 12 minutes and I will be keeping track of time. So the floor is yours. Good luck.
Well, good morning. My name is Don Weatherby and I'm representing Gig Harbor Sportsman's Club. This is FARR grant application number 24-2279. And it's about maintenance shed and storage, archery storage facilities renovation and some increase in storage capacity. Gig Harbor as a shooting club has been incorporated since 1948. So we have been a continuous shooting operation for the last 77 years. Gig Harbor is located in Western Washington, in Kitsap Peninsula, between Tacoma and Bremerton. Our city is, well, it's not so small anymore. In the last 10 years, our population has doubled, but the larger population growth story is in the unincorporated Pierce County areas surrounding the actual city. This is a picture from Google Earth that shows our facilities layout. This picture is a little bit older. It predates our beautiful green roof on the clubhouse here that was done as a previous FARR project. All the club facilities are still in the same place, however. This inset picture shows our rough property boundary lines by this yellow line, and we have approximately 31 acres. The other thing to note here is these areas circled in red. This is the archery building. This is the maintenance shed. These are where the work under this project will take place. Our goals for this project are pretty straightforward. We want to renovate the maintenance shed and the archery target storage area, create some new storage capacity at the rifle pistol, repair some dry rot siding, and improve appearance. These red numbers, you'll see these later. They'll track to specific line items on our budget development page, but you'll see how that ties together. Our need is stated in this statement right here. What we're looking to do is improve our infrastructure to help support our growth and new revenue opportunities. Our club is the only facility in our service area that offers a full range of shooting opportunities, We have trap, 5 stand. We don't have ski. We have rifle, pistol, and archery. And the population is continuing to grow, and we are seeing some interesting new opportunities with special shoots. There's Pull for a Soldier is a charity shoot, and we'd like to be able to capture more of those opportunities. Design is pretty straightforward, and as such, we don't have a formal engineering plan for it, but we believe that our in-house talent is more than capable of making this a successful project. Design highlights include, here we go. This is our current maintenance shed here. It's currently 20 by 20. The fence out front, that's a panel fence. It's a movable fence. What we would like to do is turn this shed into something that looks like this drawing. Now, what we would like to do is purchase a 20 by 10 foot prefab carport style structure to place next to what is an existing Conex box, which is over right there. And we want to purchase another Conex box to form the north wall of this unit. We would build a sloping wall, roof, I'm sorry, on these to kind of tie into the roof line of the shed. And then we want to put concrete in the floor here, which roughly 10 by 20, and then a 10 by 30 foot apron in front of the whole facility. So these three components will look like one facility. And then we'll put a new fence across the front for appearance sake. This is the current maintenance shed interior. You see, this is a work area here where we process brass for recycling, storage of targets. Here's a work area where we rebuild target sheds. Target frames. And these are some of the target frames ready to go. So it's kind of a mess. And we think that if by taking the storage out of here, we can reduce the size of the maintenance area and keep it cleaner and less cluttered and be nicer for our people that are working. This is the rifle and pistol range, and you can see here and here are the target frames we talk about. And you can imagine the target frames take a lot of abuse and need constant rebuilding. So that's what happens in that maintenance shed. The second part of a design highlights involve the archery storage area. There's archery targets stored outside under this cover. You can see that they're currently stored to keep them off the ground on these concrete blocks. We want to put a concrete pad in here to match up to this curbing so that we don't have to carry these targets out to the curb to put them on that cart to haul them out to the field. We think this will help protect our workers from tripping hazards and ankle skinning hazards of trying to walk over these darn blocks. The dry rot siding that we want to replace is on the north wall of the archery building and around the corner on the west wall. So 1 and 2 are on the north wall, 3 is around the corner. These arrows will locate for you the next pictures I'm going to show you of dry rot. Here's some exciting dry rot pictures that line up with those where I showed you those arrows where they're located, so you have an idea where that's at. We don't know how extensive that's going to be until we tear things apart. So this is the fun side of the archery range, and this is a Saturday morning session. Archery is a new venue for us, but it is rapidly growing, and we're pretty excited about the growth in that area. Rounding out our offerings is trap and 5-stand. Now, these particular ranges will not be impacted by this project other than just the storage facilities or the targets. Expansion and renovation, this does not change any of the range facilities themselves. We are renovating the maintenance and storage areas and creating more additional storage. Health and safety refers to working conditions for people that work in these areas. We think that less clutter and better flooring will improve the working conditions of our people that work underneath in the shed. And we think that this the work in the archery area will prevent tripping hazards here. And starting is a pretty good size, and I think that'll be a great improvement for our workers. And actually, I was at the club not long ago, and I saw when they're closing down the range, some smart customer shooters were helping to put these away, so it affects our customers as well. Here's our budget development page. Again, the red numbers that I showed you as our goals line up to specific items on the budget page. This particular line item here, 8,500, is a bid number. The rest are estimates provided by our experienced people in the club that are construction workers. All of these materials are available by locally competitive sources, and there are no long lead times. However, when we go to purchase this stuff, our market pricing may become a factor. We have put in the budget here the opportunity to hire some professional concrete finishers if our construction committee feels that's necessary. We have a pretty big concrete slab to pour, so that's not concerned there. Mandated uses, we have a long history of being available to all people that have all sorts of firearm related desires to shoot. Our ranges are operating year round. We have law enforcement, hunter safety, pistol safety. We do a lot with supporting firearms education, training, and safety. Public access, again, we have a long history of public access to our club. Membership is not required. However, it's available. Fee information is posted and prices are competitive. The only thing we ask of the public shooters who have not shot with us before is that they pass an orientation, which consists of a written rules test and a practical shootings test. And that is simply so that range officers are satisfied that the new shooters are going to be safely handling their firearms. With need satisfaction, we stated on question 1 that we wanted to improve our infrastructure, you know, and future opportunities. With all these, there's a list of all the variety of people that use our club. And this is continuing until we have a pistol class starting next week, I believe. And we support big shooting. Also was talking about starting up a league in archery competition. This is a couple of pictures from the Pull for a Soldier fundraiser that's done by the PTSD Foundation. It was quite a successful event. It's not, Big Harbor is a sponsor in the venues here, but this is a separate foundation that actually puts the thing on. It's for soldiers, military, and first responders who have are dealing with trauma issues. And over here, I wanted to share this picture with you. This is when we think of all the things that humans do, young people are our future. And so this young lady here is graduating in a sense. She's moving up from suction cup arrows to real arrows. Her dad was pretty proud of it. I just wanted to share that with you. Again, our experience with FARR projects is fairly extensive. It goes back a number of years, and we've had very successful projects. And we hope very much to add this one to the list. We have an experienced leadership team to help manage this project. And with that, that concludes my presentation. And I just simply want to thank you for your time and attention. And I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Dawn. Any questions for Dawn on this project? And again, if there's any slides that evaluators would like for me to navigate to, please feel free to let me know. Any questions for Dawn? All right, Dawn, I am seeing none. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, so that brings us to our first break of the morning. Our next presentation is scheduled for 10:55. I will be back on just a couple minutes in advance, and we will get things rolling right on schedule. So I'll see you all back for the 10:55 presentation from the Issaquah Sportsman Club. Hello, Wes.
Good morning.
Hello. So our advisory committee members are on a short break and we'll get you started right on time at 10:55.
Excellent.
In the meantime, Wes, I'm going to go ahead and get your presentation up and I'm going to go ahead and hand controls over to you because that can take a little bit. So go ahead and there you go. It looks like you have controls. Just make sure you can advance slides. All right, you're looking good. So I will let you know right at 10:55 when we're ready to start. I want to make sure the evaluators get back on.
Excellent.
Yeah, just a reminder, you have 12 minutes for your presentation. I'll be keeping track of time, so no need for you to do that.
Great. I'm tracking about 13 minutes so far, so I'm going to try and cut it down that last 60 seconds.
Sounds good. Okay, well, we're right at 10:55. Welcome back, evaluators. We have Wes Potter here to present Issaquah Sportsman Club's FARR project. And Wes, I'm going to hand it over to you. Good luck.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your time. My name is Wes Potter. I'm here representing Issaquah Sportsman's Club in Issaquah, Washington. This is a photo of our clubhouse, and let's get started. We are east on the west side of Washington State, east of Seattle by about 30 minutes in city of Issaquah. A couple different slides showing our location in more and more detail. This slide is valuable to us. Quickly, it shows our proximity to the city and how we're backed up against Issaquah Middle and High School there. This is an overview of our range itself. We are an outdoor facility with a maximum of 100-yard range. We have several different berms. You can see my cursor, I believe. So 100-yard, 50-yard, 25-yard, and 7-yard berms all established. Our parking lot and our clubhouse or our entry point for the range itself is right here. Moving through. We are applying for a FARR grant for a couple different things. The first of which is a pretty fundamental improvement and install for lighting systems at our range. Currently, we do have lights on our 25-yard berm and our 7-yard pistol bay, but we do not have any lights whatsoever on our 50 or 100-yard targets. And being an outdoor range, we lose access to those berms and to those targets in the winter months, let's say approximately between November and March. With daylight savings time or any bad weather events that come through, that would be a massive improvement for us and allow us to fit the needs of our customer base much better. Additionally, while we do have a small selection of steel reactive targets for rimfire rounds only on our 50-yard line, we are constantly being approached by customers who are interested in reaction steel targets. And so we're considering or we're requesting assistance in adding 4 bays of resettable action targets for our range itself. We are, again, 30 minutes outside of Seattle off of I-90 with a full 100-yard range. RSOs are available any operating hour that we have at the range, and so we're constantly staffed. We are a nonprofit range operating on land that we own. We've been there for 102 years in unincorporated King County. To go over the numbers quickly here, we had just under 10,000 total check-ins in 2024 with 4,001 visitors. 1,300 plus of those were members, 356 were military, LE, or a veteran. 425 were under 18, and the majority, of course, were from Washington State itself. This slide, and a variation of it, is going to show up several different times, but I want to point out this image in particular here, because when I move to the next page, you'll see our need really clearly outlined. We lose 28 out of the 53 target posting locations of our range to weather or to light issues, where it's no longer safe for us to send customers downrange to post or collect their targets. And it's inappropriate to continue operating that section of the range during darkness, during weather. Our 25-yard target bank, which again, we'll look at this slide in bigger with a little more clarity here in a couple minutes, does have lighting. That lighting could be improved pretty massively. Obviously, lighting is paramount to a safe range experience, especially outdoors, especially in weather events, and the assistance here could be huge for us. Steel targets. Again, we have a exceptionally popular rimfire bay on our 50-yard line. Currently, we are constantly being approached by customers who are asking for us to consider expanding those steel targets to center fire options. And so the assistance from this FARR grant would allow us to expand that customer request, driving a more popular or another popular aspect of the shooting sport to our range and bringing in new members and more visits from our current and existing members. Knowing that steel especially can be commercial grade, can survive range use was a paramount part of that choice for us to make this request. This is a review, or at least quick notes for all the different things that we're attempting to accomplish with our FARR grant request this year. Again, green marks our berms moving across. Here in yellow are where we're talking about installing new light fixtures, so a place we've never had electrical components whatsoever. This red hash line is showing a conduit line, which we'll explain briefly, that'll be buried in order to provide power to all of these baffles, which you can see the shadows of. We'll have photos of in a couple minutes for those lighting fixtures. Here in orange are where we currently have 25-yard line lights. Those could be improved, and we'll talk about that in a second. And here in the red box is approximately where we're talking about installing these steel targets, if approved. Again, this perspective is all north is to the left. This is our parking lot over here and our entryway range house right there. The lighting install itself, like we briefly outlined on that last slide, will require trenching. We did receive bids from 3 different local companies who are going to be able to perform that work and be able to run power underground to a safe location to come up through the dirt and attach to the back of baffles, which will show you photos in a second, that are already in place, allowing a secure and safe space to do install for materials that will be able to survive a lot of use, obviously beyond the range and be downrange all the time. Those lights will be placed behind baffles away from projectiles, and there's no structural changes required whatsoever to accomplish that. Here we go again with a slide showing how much of our targets, all 28 of those that we lose during during darkness or during weather events. And again, another version of the same slide, this time without the steel markers, showing the inclusion of the buried conduit line and then the yellow new installs and the improvements in the orange, which we're going to look at here next. These photos are all taken from marked positions, position 1, 2, 3, and 4 in that order. From the 100-yard line looking at targets, you are backed up against this baffle, which is in photograph number 2. That baffle will be where we're talking about running conduit buried line 2 and then being able to mount lighting fixtures up high here on the baffles in order to safely mount this new utility. That'll be happening on position number 3 as well, albeit on the other side of this baffle. Position 4 here shows a version of lighting that we have installed on the 25-yard berm. So if you can understand the perspective here, it shows several different places that will either be receiving new or improved lighting for the range itself. This photo, and it always frustrates me how smart cell phone cameras are these days, on the left shows some of the existing lighting we have on the 25-yard berm. That lighting shows excellently, but could certainly be improved for our customer base. On the right, however, this photograph on this side shows what I think is most important to discuss about the 25-yard line is currently these lights are all run by extension cable, which is just hung up high over the structure and plugged in to use or turn off, unplugged to turn off. That's something that could vastly be improved. Running permanent conduit would allow us to go back to switches and have a more permanent solution for this space. This is a lighting diagram that Northwest Edison provided to us. It mostly just displays the different types of bulbs we'll be using for the different throw distances and the type of flood pattern that we'll have. I know it's a little bit tough to see and it's a lot of information to pack in here, but it'll light the entire range, which means that even 5 o'clock in the middle of the darkest part of winter for us, we'll be able to send customers downrange and have them be lit the entire time as they go post targets and return back to us safely, as well as keeping track of any animals, deer, or you name it, that might come out of the woods during range hours, something easier to keep track of with lights that we certainly don't have the option to now. Steel targets are pretty simple to talk about in short. We're looking at purchasing from TA targets. I'll have an example photo of those in just a second here. These are 2 positions that would be looking at replacing the current static standing shooting positions with reactive steel targets. On the next slide over, you see two different examples of the type of targets that we're requesting assistance with. 6-plate reactive steel, 3 of those, and 2 of these C-zone targets placed between 50 feet and 25 yards, 25 yard being the maximum for this bay. Those targets are certainly well reviewed. We had individual conversations with them, with the manufacturer directly, in order to talk about the viability to repair on site. We're very excited if this becomes a reality, to have their products available to us, knowing how safe and reliable they're going to be. The benefit of lighting and steel targets, to me, seems, fairly obvious. I'm kind of hammering on the same points over and over in some ways. A well-lit range is a safe range. Being able to visually keep track of customers and animals and anything else that goes on during heavy rains or during darker times of the year is going to be huge for us. We know that we'll be able to, that we'll attract more customers. We know we currently lose customers who can't come by after they finish work for the day, or they can't come by when it's raining too heavily because they're going to have issues, or we're going to have to close the 50 or 100-yard line. Steel targets on their own, they're a major request for us to provide to our customers. And so everyone's going to be very excited to see those come through. Again, increased safety improves visibility during weather events, during those November to March months that we're always losing time on the range itself, closing as early as 4 o'clock. Keeps everyone safe from moving down range, keeps animals that fall into the range to make them more visible to us. Fortunately for us, because we already both have lighting and steel targets on the range itself, we have written into our SOPs all the protocols in order to handle and keep track of the use of those spaces, of lit spaces and of steel target systems. And so we actually don't expect that there's going to be a ton of change to our existing procedures. It's just going to be additional amenities that we get to offer to our customer base. And then again, the expansion of our amenities, steel target use for centerfire pistols will be a huge drive for us to have customers come through and be able to use self-defense, centerfire handguns, and so on to train on steel target use. To the records I have available to me, this is not our first FARR grant request. I certainly knew that. There are several plaques on the property, including one in a photograph I can show towards the very end. My records show that we've been approved for FARR grants as far back as 1992 and as recently as 2014. To my records, all 5 of those projects were completed on time and on budget, although my records do get a little bit messier starting in 2007. We are confident that the bids that we've collected for this project are going to be correct, with qualified electricians looking to perform that work, and then a pre-established arrangement with TA targets where we able to complete that purchase are going to keep us on budget and on time for this entire request. As far as the range goes, we are open to the public 5 days a week, excluding major holidays. Range users include law enforcement, military, veteran, Washington State concealed carry holders, hunters, all of who are using our premise to train for self-defense or competition reasons, or get ready for hunting season, zeroing in firearms. We also specifically host events for law enforcement, including qualifiers. The Mountain Men come through for black powder shoots. The Scouts of America and Hunters Education live fire courses are offered at varying times throughout the year. We are, again, open to the public in full. There's no volunteering or membership required. We do offer memberships. That whole page is here. Starting at $140 for the year or $160 for family. We think that it's very competitive in this area in particular, and are very grateful that we have a lot of customers who come and visit us as a result of that. We know that these amenities, the new lighting system, a new steel target system, would be available to all users during all open hours. So there's no restrictions whatsoever that we're going to create for that. If you notice, and I'm sorry it's so small, up here in the right corner, I have one of our FARR grant plaques. We have a couple more of those around the property.
Hey, Wes, you are at time, so if you could just wrap up the last criteria, that would be great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is going to create more availability for us to be open to our customer base, especially for those darker months of the year. It's going to be a safer range because we're going to be well lit and able to keep visual track of everything going on downrange. And steel targets and extra hours of being open are going to expand our availability for customers to come to visit us and to make repeat visits to us. Thank you very much for your time. I'm sorry I went over just a little bit there, but thank you all.
No worries. Thank you so much, Wes. Okay, any questions for Wes?
Yeah.
Go right ahead, Rex.
With the increased lighting, are you gonna increase the hours you guys are open?
That is something that we will have to discuss. I can't speak to a plan for that at this moment, but certainly if we have customers that'll start to show up and visit us in the darker hours of the year in particular, I can imagine that's something we could consider.
Oh, thank you.
That's exciting to me from the perspective I'm allowed to offer.
Thank you, Rex. Any other questions for Wes? All right, I am seeing none. Wes, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your time, everybody. I really appreciate it.
All right, next we have Department of Fish and Wildlife. This is our only state agency FARR project this season. And this is the North Pothole Shooting Range.
Karen, Chris, my video is off.
Okay, all right, we'll go ahead and work through that. So all right, I have got John Hanson and Chad Edson. Hello, Chad. Am I handing controls over to you for this one?
Yes, please.
All right. All right, Chad, you should have controls now.
All right, you're gonna have to tell me where I go to start my.
Yeah, just move your cursor around on the screen. I'll let you know when it pops up on this end.
Okay, yep, it's working on my end.
Yeah, I need it to work on my end, so keep moving it around. Sometimes you have to click or double click. Are you moving your cursor? Is it still moving on your screen?
Yeah, it's moving on my screen. It says up at the top of my screen that I can control Karen Edwards.
Yes. Yeah, so keep moving your cursor around because I need it to pop up on my screen for it to actually connect.
Okay.
So keep moving your cursor, click, double click on the screen, and then I can see the cursor as soon as it shows up on this end.
All right, I'm moving it around and clicking.
And it's not working, huh?
No, I'm not. I mean, it's moving on my side.
Okay, so Chad, I'm gonna go ahead and take controls back.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it one more shot to hand controls over to you. Go ahead and give it a try again.
All right, I can move. And yeah.
I'm not seeing it pop up on my end. Okay, so I will go ahead and advance slides for you, Chad, if you just want to say next.
Okay.
When you're ready for me to advance, and I'll go ahead and advance them for you.
That sounds great.
Okay, and just a reminder, you have 12 minutes for your presentation. I'll go ahead and keep track of time. And good luck. It's all yours.
All right, thank you. Good morning. My name is Chad Edson. I'm the Wildlife Area Manager for the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife here on the Columbia Basin Wildlife Area, and I'm the sponsor for the North Potholes Target Shooting Range proposal. Thank you for your time and the opportunity to share this project. Next. Can everybody see the presentation? Because that's the one thing I can't see the presentation.
Yeah.
Okay, as long as you can see it, that's fine with me. Okay, so we're on the page with the map. The proposed site is in Grant County, about 6 miles west of Moses Lake. Next. This site is owned by the Bureau of Reclamation. WDFW manages this property under a 25-year agreement and has managed it since the 50s. Next, the area is generally referred to as North Potholes. It is owned by the Bureau of Reclamation and managed by WDFW. North Potholes is a popular recreation area for a diversity of activities, including fishing, hunting, hiking, birdwatching, ORV riding, powerboating, paddling, and swimming. Dispersed target shooting has led to an unsafe environment for many users and has led to the closure of target shooting in some portions of the North Potholes. Additionally, the Bureau of Reclamation directives and standards do not allow for dispersed target shooting. Use of recreational lands where there is no formal range facility for repeated recreational target shooting or sighting in it is to be actively discouraged and curtailed. WDFW would like to ensure compliance with the directives and standards, but recognizes that a shooting range must be developed to be successful in discouraging and curtailing the current dispersed shooting. All DFW-controlled land on the Columbia Basin Wildlife Area has been scoped for a target shooting range, and there are no places that can safely provide a 300-yard range with such a high degree of public accessibility. Next. So you should be seeing the project design for the site. Next. The range will ensure that the direction of shooting and backstop maximizes safety and reduces potential sound impacts and fire risks to nearby residents to the south. Long and short range rifle and pistol opportunities will be provided. The area will be managed with the fire break and fuels reduction methods such as mowing and cheatgrass control to ensure any fire starts can be quickly extinguished. The shooting lanes are flat and gentle slopes, and public vault toilets exist within 3 miles east on Sand Dunes Road. Next. The existing berms around the site make it an ideal location for a shooting range. The exterior berm is at an elevation of 1080, which is indicated by the thick red line. The top of the berm is 20 feet higher than the location of the firing line, which is at an elevation of 1060, shown by the black oval in the center of this image. Next. The nearest residents are 0.32 miles away, and the direction of fire will be directly opposite of these residences. There is an excellent backstop afforded by the existing southern berm. The site will be located just off I-90, making it very easy for enforcement officers to patrol and for easy access by the users. The higher ground immediately north of the firing line should help buffer noise impacts to the north. Next. This project is a new development. There is no significant history of target shooting at this particular location. We expect to construct the range in 2 phases. After full development, use will be monitored to determine the need for additional amenities and expansion of opportunities. This site has ample room and opportunity for growth. Next. The project area is currently surrounded by an intact treated post with chicken wire fencing. These posts will be used to very clearly designate the boundary of the range. Though not immediately obvious from this photo, these posts sit upon a 10-foot high berm. Signs will be posted downrange, buffered around the impact zone to notify the public of hazards. The area behind the backstop receives light use from recreators. Lead reclamation is expected to occur every 5 to 10 years, depending upon use levels. And lastly, WDFW coordinates with local fire protection districts and state and federal fire suppression units on an annual basis. Management of this site will be coordinated with the local FPDs during this meeting. Next. Budget development here. Here's our budget. It covers administration, architecture, engineering, permitting, cultural resources, site preparation, range development, parking development, amenities, and signs and kiosks. Soils at this site are sandy and is relatively flat, which has helped reduce the cost associated with the site preparations and development of berms. The existing berm at the far south end will serve as the 300-yard berm and requires minimal addition to the materials to better contain bullets. WDFW's engineers have developed several shooting ranges recently and has developed this cost estimate using bid data from those projects. Next. The site will serve pistol, black powder, and rifle users. All user types will be able to use the site concurrently. We will evaluate use post-development to determine whether additional phases should be added in the future to meet changing or unforeseen needs. Because the site has an annual rainfall of around 7 inches, most of which falls during the winter and spring when shooting activity is low, all weather amenities such as overhead covers are not planned at this time. Enforcement typically trains 14 miles north of this location at the Boyd Mordhurst Memorial Range in Ephrata. Enforcement may use the site if needed, but will not use it exclusively. Next. The site would be open year-round during daylight hours. We anticipate some additional restrictions during December and January when target shooting demand is low to allow for safe waterfowl hunting opportunities immediately south of this range. Additional restrictions could occur during high fire danger, which typically occurs during early July through September. However, if fire abatement measures allow for it, we may be able to maintain the site open during high fire danger, perhaps using morning-only restrictions. We will make all efforts to ensure this range is open to the public as much as possible. Next. 2/3 of the Columbia Basin Wildlife Area consist of land owned by the Bureau of Reclamation, where dispersed target shooting is prohibited. Historically, target shooting was not enforced on Bureau of Reclamation lands due to the enforcement capacity, but they've since contracted with the BLM for a part-time ranger, and they're beginning to enforce this rule. You saw that on the closed slide earlier, where all the sites that have been closed to shooting. Additionally, in 2021, the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife implemented a target shooting rule change, which requires that shooters use safe backstops measuring at least 8 feet in height. These changes have greatly reduced public target shooting options and could create conflict between enforcement and target shooters without adequate locations to direct people to. Today, users have the option of joining shooting clubs for a fee, which is generally around $100 a year. There are just 2 shooting clubs with rifle ranges within 30 miles of this general area. One is in Ephrata and one is in Quincy. This project will allow us to redirect target shooters to safe and free range with multiple distances to sight in their rifles and test their skills within a similar distance of those fee-based ranges. This project is identified in the Columbia Basin Wildlife Area Management Plan that was last updated in March of 2022. And that's my presentation.
All right, thank you so much, Chad. Looks like we have a question. Go right ahead, Rudy.
Thanks. 2 questions, Chad. One, being a new facility, is this going to require a SEPA checklist review? And number 2, you had the diagram that showed the proximity of the residences. Has there been notification or outreach to the residents in the areas to give them notification that this is going to happen?
So I would say yes on the SEPA checklist because it is new development, but John Hanson could probably correct me if I'm wrong on that one. Secondly, no, there hasn't been outreach yet. The one thing I'd point out is currently there's a tremendous amount of target shooting occurring in the area. So target shooting occurring at this location is not going to seem out of place, but we certainly would plan some outreach.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rudy. Any other questions for Chad or John? Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah. How's this range going to be staffed as far as RSOs?
We won't have
open?
we will not have, it will be a user situation. We won't have a staffed RSO. So it's open to the public. We've done this with other shooting ranges on WDFW land. There isn't a range officer.
So is there any expectation that shooters have any kind of RSO training? Or are they
No.
going to get orientation to the course or to the project to where they know how to operate things, right?
I would suggest that we would have rules and standard operating procedures posted, but short of that, no.
Okay.
Thank you, Brian. Any other questions? All right, I am seeing none. Chad, thank you so much. Thank you, John.
Thank you. Appreciate the time.
All right, we will move on to our next presentation, which is Bainbridge Island Sportsman. And let's see, do we have Tony on the line? I do not see Tony. We are running a little bit early. And it does not look like we have the next one either. So does everybody want to take a quick 5-minute break? And we'll come back at 11:28. And then hopefully we'll have the presenter ready. Thank you. All right, we are back. It's 11:28 and I see that Tony is on. Hello, Tony.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello, I can. Can you hear us okay?
Yes, thank you.
Great. Okay, Tony, I will go ahead and get your presentation started here. And I am going to hand controls over to you. Let me find you here. All right, you should have controls now, Tony. So go ahead and move your cursor around on the screen and I'll let you know when I see it on this end.
Right, can you see it?
I need to be able to see it on this end in order for you to take control of my screen.
Right.
So move your cursor around on the screen that has the presentation on it.
I'm doing that.
And then you might have to click or double click. There you go. So it looks like you have controls now.
Okay.
And just as a reminder, so you go ahead and go back to your title slide.
Target's really little. There we go.
Okay, and just a reminder, Tony, you have 12 minutes to present your project. I will be keeping track of time and I'm going to hand it over to you. Good luck.
Thank you. Hey, good morning. My name is Tony Chor. I'm the president of the Bainbridge Island Sportsman Club. We are planning to renovate our existing clubhouse kitchen. This will be the first time we've done such a renovation since at least 1968, which is as far back as any of our current members can remember. This work will be done within the existing footprint of our, within the footprint of our existing kitchen. For this work, we are requesting $31,000, which is 44.25% of the estimated cost of this project. We are a well-established club that has been on Bainbridge Island for 96 years. In fact, we are the oldest institution on the island and located on Sportsman Club Road, which is named after us. We own the property and buildings that we are on. We currently offer trap and five stand at our shotgun range, pistol caliber shooting, and archery to our members and to the public. In the past, our pistol caliber and archery ranges have also benefited from the generosity of FARR. We currently have 270 memberships, which covers roughly 500 members when we include families and spouses. To that, last year, about 70% of our use was by members and 30% by the public. Our primary service area is Kitsap County, which is across Puget Sound to the west of Seattle. There are relatively few offerings in our area. A Paulsville Sportsman Club is our closest neighbor. They're about a 33-minute drive away. And I understand they have a wait list to join their membership right now. By contrast, we're open to new members. Kitsap Rifle and Revolver closed during the pandemic and is not reopened. And Bremerton Trap and Skeet is about 48 minutes away. But in addition to the Kitsap County area, we regularly have shooters coming from as far as Sequim, Vashon Island, and West Seattle. Our existing 55-year-old plus kitchen is dilapidated and partially non-functional. Several of the appliances are no longer working, including the dishwasher and stove that you see here. More broadly, there were over the years have been several aborted attempts to remodel the kitchen, as you can see. And in that process, we've discovered signs of dry rot in the floor. You can also see in the other photo that several of the drawers and cabinets are broken, but more important, the dry rot issues we think will necessitate removing the cabinets to remediate. We've been patching the kitchen and trying to make repairs with donated appliances and ad hoc projects over the last 55 years. But we're reaching the limits of that, of what we can do in that fashion. And so this has challenged our ability to host longer, like full day or longer shooting and mandated use events, forcing our attendees to either leave the premises or for meals or bring their own. And this has been sort of a headwind as we've run our programs. So our project plans were scoped by Todd Kane, who is a member of our board and also the president of Wing Point Construction. And as I mentioned, This is a renovation of our existing kitchen within our existing footprint. So I'll show you just briefly, go through some of the design. This is the rendering of the west wall of our updated kitchen. The east rendering, east wall rendering. The overall floor plan. And the elevations for both the west and the east wall. And this is, like I say, basically a one-for-one replacement for, in most cases, for what we have today. So on the budget side, we estimate that the total cost of cash and labor to be $70,063. We will provide $26,002 in cash and $13,061 in donated labor for 55.75% of the cost. And so then we're requesting 31,000 for the remainder, which is 44.25%. Our cash contributions come from our reserve funds, which we generated from our membership dues, fees, and donations. In our previous grants, the most recent grant we've done, the Pistol Caliber Range Berm Improvement Project in 2020, we demonstrated that we can manage our costs relative to budget. We were 1.22% off of our agreement cost with versus our actual development cost. This is a little more detail. This is a summarized breakdown of our budget. Per the instructions, we've estimated our unskilled in-house labor at the donated labor rate of $22 an hour, and then the professional skilled labor rates at the prevailing wage rates. I'll let you take a look at this for a moment. I realize there's a bunch here. I'll move on now. Sorry. In addition to our recreational shooting, we are the training range for the Bainbridge Island Police Department and the Citizens Police Academy. We're the only range on Bainbridge. We offer firearms and archery safety training. For example, last year we taught 60 students in our pistol caliber range, and we teach about 50 to 80 students a month on our archery range. We also host public hunters education classes and safety training for our range safety officers, most recently the Stop the Bleed class. We had 25 students in our last hunter ed class in September, and we are planning to host our next class in March. Our pistol caliber and archery ranges are all weather, and the shotgun range has covered shooting stands. As a result, we are rarely closed for weather. Our ranges are open to the public and members always with regular posted hours. We provide a variety of daytime and evening hours during the week and weekend to meet the diverse needs of our members and the public. Our shotgun and pistol caliber ranges each offer 13 hours of public shooting each week, and our archery range is open 7 hours to the public each week. Each of these sessions is staffed by volunteer certified range safety officers. And as you look at our fee structure, you'll note that our public and membership fees are very reasonable. We believe this project will enable us to better fulfill our mandated uses, especially for longer training and shooting events. We also believe we have appropriately skilled personnel leading this effort to successfully execute this plan. In particular, we have several professional members who are donating their services. So thank you for this opportunity for your consideration. I'm happy to take questions now.
Hi, thank you so much for that, Tony. Tony, could you tell us how often this kitchen clubhouse is used for the shooting range facility versus like community events?
It's almost all shooting range where we like every week we have during our daytime shooting, the members meet in the clubhouse to shoot. We haven't hosted too many public community events in the last 5 years or so. it's primarily membership and mandated use related.
Okay, okay. So we'll just need to clarify that, and if proration is necessary for like non-shooting events, we may need to do some proration.
Yeah, I'll give you an order of magnitude. I think in the last, since I've been president, which is like the last 2 years, I think we've had 2 events that you might consider non related to mandated use.
Okay,
So it's very trivial relative to our overall use of a clubhouse.
okay, all right. Thanks for that clarification, Tony.
Okay.
Any questions from evaluators for Tony? Any questions? Go ahead, Chris.
Tony, question. The archery range seems to be open only 1 hour per day. Why such a short opening time?
Our challenge right now on the archery range has been the availability of RSOs for that, because like I say, we're all run by all volunteers. We do have actually next month 3 more RSOs going through training. We're hoping to be able to expand that number, and then as a result expand our hours.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chris. Any other questions for Tony? All right, seeing none. Thank you so much, Tony.
Great. Thanks so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Okay, we have got another break. Let me look real quick and see if, and we are going to need that break. I do not see the next presenter online. So they're scheduled for 12:05. So that gives us about 25 minutes. So a little bit longer break, but we will break and be back just a minute or two before that 12:05 scheduled time. Have a nice break, everybody.
Hi, Ron.
Hi.
How you doing? This is Jesse.
Oh, good morning, Jesse.
Hey, I just wanted you to know that I was here. I'll be in the background though with my video off and all that stuff, but I'm
Okay.
here to
All right.
support you.
So are you seeing me on your screen?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Your
Now,
sound and videos looks great.
okay. So I have a question for you here. Just a second. Okay. So do you guys start the video on your end?
Yeah, she'll explain all that. Basically, she'll give you controls of
Okay.
your PowerPoint presentation. You gotta click the button, move your mouse around to get control. But she'll tell you how to do that.
Okay.
And then just remember you got 12 minutes to do your presentation, and then there's 8 minutes for question and answer after.
Oh man, I thought I had 20 minutes. Okay. Okay. I'll have to speed up my presentation then.
Yes, by a lot.
So how many minutes do I have for the actual presentation?
12 minutes.
12 minutes is all. Oh
Yeah.
man. Okay, I gotta change my time. I got a timer here I'm running.
Okay, well, what I'll do is I'm gonna turn my video off and turn my audio off so you can concentrate, okay?
All right.
Okay, bye. Hey, Ron, I had one more idea. She'll tell you when it's 12 minutes, when you're supposed to be done, but like I would put your internal timer at like 6 minutes just to give you a warning, like, oh boy, I should be halfway through by now.
Oh, okay. I'll adjust that time.
Yeah, it's just a little trick that I used to use myself back in the day. Okay, I'll leave you alone now.
Okay.
All right. Hello, Ron.
Well, good morning. Is this Tessa?
No, this is Karen.
Oh, okay.
Hello. We do have Tessa on here. She's in the
Okay.
background helping out with the technical things. And we also have Monica here helping us as well, but I'm moderating today.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and get your presentation up, Ron. Then I will hand controls over to you to start your presentation. So let's give that a shot here. Let me find you. Okay, Ron, you should have controls of the screen.
Okay. All I'm seeing is myself. Oh,
You probably have the screen covered up.
oh,
So you might have to minimize that screen in order to see your presentation on another one.
well, shoot.
Are you working off of one monitor?
Yes.
Okay, you might have to minimize some stuff, Ron, in order to see your presentation. You probably just have it covered up with something else.
Oh, shoot.
Are you not finding it?
No, I'm not. I think I can see my PowerPoint in the middle in the background, but
Yeah, so you're going to want to click on that. You're going to want to click on your PowerPoint presentation so that it brings it up. And then start moving your cursor around so that it'll capture the screen.
oh, come on now. Oh, there it is.
All right, so go ahead and move your cursor around and I'll let you know when I see it pop up on my screen. And sometimes you have to click or double click. There we go. Okay, so I can see you. And make sure that you can advance your slides.
Do what?
Make sure you can advance your slides.
Oh, okay. So let's see. How do I? Oh, I see over here.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay.
Go ahead and go back to your intro slide.
Okay.
All right, and just a reminder, you have 12 minutes for your presentation. I will be keeping track of time, and it looks like you have controls.
Oh, how come I can't get back to the? All right, it's not letting me go back to the intro slide there, but
Yeah, make sure you're on the arrow, not on the annotation button. So there you go. And you can also, Ron, you can use your keyboard arrows as well. Your arrow forward and your arrow backward on your keyboard.
oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, that works.
Right. Okay, it's all yours, Ron. Good luck.
What's that?
It's all yours. It's time for you to do your presentation. So I'm going to hand it over to you and I'll be keeping track of time for the 12 minutes. Good luck.
I have 12 minutes, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so should I start?
Yes, please.
Good morning. My name is Ron Jorgensen, and I'll be presenting information on behalf of the Tri-City Shooting Association for our grant request that includes a canopy to be constructed at the new 22 competition range that was completed in 2024. The Rattlesnake Mountain Shooting Facility is located in southeastern Washington, near Richland, and serves an area from Yakima to the west, Idaho border on the east, and south into Oregon. The primary regional area serviced by the shooting range includes the Tri-Cities of Kennewick, Richland, West Richland, and Pasco. The Tri-City Shooting Association operates and manages the Rattlesnake Mountain Shooting Facility on behalf of the Benton County Parks Department under a lease agreement that's been in place since 1991. The shooting range covers 1,100 acres located about 15 highway miles from Richland. The Tri-City Shooting Association manages the range. The current lease agreement runs through 2040. The range has a current membership of 2,455 members, and activities are overseen by 677 range safety officers. Our grant request includes 2 individual items: a new canopy to cover the 20 small bore shooting positions. It will be 200 feet wide and cover 20 shooting positions. The second item in the grant, development of 20 shooting benches. The new canopy will use the construction plans originally developed for the Hunter Education and Safety Range, but was updated in 2024 by Berkey Engineering to cover any code changes since the Hunter Education Safety canopy was built in 2011. The Tri-City area population continues to grow and expand, and the range continues to gain notoriety for the variety of shooting opportunities that are available. The shooting range continues to see annual increases from year to year, and the shooting facility is the only public range located in southeastern Washington that is overseen by range safety officers whenever the range is scheduled to be open. The number of scheduled events continues to increase, with events scheduled in every month except for December. In 2024, we had 125 events scheduled. 53 of those events were small bore 22 caliber events that have been conducted during the week due to availability of range facilities. The new range completed in 2024 with the proposed canopy will be available on weekends, allowing for greater use by students and allows people with weekday jobs to participate. An archaeological review and cultural survey were originally conducted in 2009. The cultural survey was updated in 2022 and includes the area of the new proposed canopy. And it also determined there were no cultural concerns in the area designated for the canopy. A CEPA application was submitted in 2022 for construction of the small bore range completed in 2024. TCSA has filed with Benton County, for a Benton County permit for construction of the new canopy and has received approval, with the understanding that access to the site meets the requirements set forth by the Department of Transportation. The range is accessed off of State Route 225. The access road on site is covered with crushed rock, limiting dust and erosion, and the range area that includes the canopy is fully enclosed with fencing to restrict access. The proposed canopy is an addition to the new competition range completed in 2024. The addition of the canopy provides several benefits. The benches will also provide a shooting platform, allowing all shooters, including those with handicaps, an opportunity to participate. The canopy construction plans were updated in 2024 to include any new code requirements when it was first issued in 2011. The access road to the range with the canopy is normally locked and open for match and scheduled events. The base of the canopy will be constructed on non-slip concrete for safety. The projected budget reflects costs for development of both canopy and shooting benches. Total projected cost for those two items is $103,755. The canopy cost $85,000 and the shooting bench is $9,600. Earlier this month, I received a new budget item from Central Washington Asphalt to pave the existing possible roadway with State Route 225. This is required per guidance from the Washington Department of Transportation to meet DOT requirements and is expected to cost $44,000. This additional cost needs to be included in the total project if possible, increasing the final cost to a little over $140,000. It should be noted that the Tri-City Shooting Association has a strong track record of applying for and receiving RCO grant money. All projects completed were completed in a timely manner and within budget. The most recent project completed were the High Power Road Paving Project in 2020 and the develop of the new small bore competition range in 2024, which is the site for the proposed canopy. Rose Iris Range is open to the public 4 days a week from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. The Tri-City Shooting Association is also very proactive, offering training opportunities to the public for youth and adults. Many of the shooting opportunities are free to the public, and the range provides a family-friendly setting with many shooting opportunities for use. The area covered by the canopy will offer an excellent venue for training and match programs. Over 20 shooting events, many for use, have been recently scheduled at the new range where the proposed canopy will be constructed. Nearly 400 members of the public received training in 2024. The training is provided by volunteers from the Tri-City Shooting Association at no cost to the public. For some events, the TCSA provided firearms and ammunition at no cost. Availability of the range is designed around those days and times when the majority. Oh, wait, I'm on the wrong slide here. Okay, there we go. The Tri-City Shooting Association newsletter and website programs provide information about the range and list times, dates, and directions to the range. Rattlesnake is run 100% by volunteers and identified as a nonprofit. Members of the public may obtain annual memberships or pay daily use fees. Membership and daily use fees cover the operating costs for utilities, insurance, supplies, and routine maintenance. Youths under 18, law enforcement, and active and retired military shoot for free. The new range with the proposed canopy is included in the Tri-City Shooting Association Master Plan and the Benton County Parks Plan. The building of a new small bore range and new canopy will enhance the opportunities of the public and lead to a more enjoyable experience. Whew. And that concludes the presentation. And so now I'm open for discussion. I don't know how many minutes I used.
So Ron, you still had 3.5 minutes left.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you did great.
Okay. All right.
With room to spare.
Well, I was talking awful fast there.
All right. So Ron, I had a really quick question. I think I heard you say that there was something required by, was it Department of Transportation?
Okay, here's the deal. When we applied for the building construction permit, Department of Transportation had to come and review the access to the site. And the Department of Transportation is requiring us to actually pave the area from the access gate to State Route 225, which is about 200 feet. And we just received a estimate for that cost 3 days ago, and that is $44,294. And so I'm wondering about trying to include that in our grant proposal, and I'm not sure just how to go about doing it.
Yeah, so Ron, unfortunately at this time, that cannot be taken into consideration because that is not the way that the grant was applied for.
Okay,
So
all right.
we can certainly continue discussions afterwards. But for evaluation purposes, that is not the scope of the project being applied for. So
Okay, yeah, I thought that might be the case. Okay.
yeah, thank you so much for that clarification, Ron.
Uh-huh.
Okay, any questions? Go right ahead, Rudy.
Yeah, Ron, are the shooting benches going to be procured commercially from a company, or are they going to be fabricated like locally on site?
They will be fabricated locally on site. We have it's actually a member of the club who has a business that fabricates things like that. And the bid that I received was from him for the $9,600.
Okay. And in your narrative, you mentioned a concrete bullet shield. And I'm not quite clear. I understand what that is.
Oh, I think I maybe was going too fast for that. Well, the concrete was that the canopy will be built over a concrete base, and that base has skid protection in it so that it won't be.
Okay, thank you. Well, it actually says in your narrative, each station will include an upgraded 4-foot by 6-foot by 6-inch
Oh.
concrete bullet shield. So is that what you're talking about?
Okay, no, okay, no, that's something different. Okay, so the contractor that we are going to use for this came up with the idea of putting in concrete barriers between each shooting station in the event that there's a stray round that goes where it shouldn't go. And so
Okay,
that is going to be constructed out of concrete.
gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rudy. Any other questions for Ron?
I just have a question about the cost. The shed is 200 feet long, or I think it's mentioned wide. How wide is it? What are the actual dimensions of the thing?
It'll be 15 feet wide and 200 feet long. And oh man.
That's okay. I was just curious to get
Yeah,
an idea of the mass of it there. So
yeah.
thank you
Yeah,
very much.
it's 15 feet wide by 200 feet long. And then, it's the height of it is about 7 feet, so that you can easily stand up in it and move around.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Any other questions for Ron? All right, I am seeing none. Ron, thank you so much.
All
It was
right.
great to see you. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. We are on to our next presentation and the last one. We have Reed here. Uh-oh. Can you also hear me?
We can hear you. We just
Yeah.
see a Microsoft Windows thing and not
Yeah,
a power.
let me restart that. Can you see the presentation now?
Yeah, we see
Great.
a
Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start the last presentation of the day. Do not be alarmed when this camera comes back on. It's going to be Marguerite Austin that is going to be facilitating the rest of the meeting. So I'll get everybody started. And we have got Reed here. So Reed, I will go ahead and hand controls over to you.
All right, great. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Are we ready to get started?
All right, go ahead and give that a try, Reed. You have got controls now.
You put it on here.
Okay. All right. So you have
Here we go.
control. Yep, there you go. So Reed,
Okay.
just a reminder, you have got 12 minutes for your presentation. We'll be keeping track of time here. And it looks like you have control, so I'm going to hand it over to you and good luck.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone being here and allowing me an opportunity to speak on the behalf of Granite Falls Sportsman's Club. Yeah, we're excited to present our project, which is basically set to enhance our sporting clay course, increase get new trap machines to sustain trap shooting, and a really nice new feature for our 5 stand. All right. So ultimately, what we would like to do is obtain here on the left are our 25 of these Prometrics Matrix 8 trap machines in the quote, which I'll get into later. They come with all the gear to run them, but essentially with these machines, we could get we currently have 15 stations at each one of our we currently have 15 stations in our sporting clay course. We would like to see 3 machines being placed at each station. That way we could offer a wider variety of targets. We could make sure that beginner, intermediate, and expert level shooters are all have the accessibility and the targets that are they're going to help them want to shoot and get into the sport and sustain the game long term. And then in the middle are our 2 new trap machines. These ones are just standard trap machines. We recently we have 4 trap machines at our at our club, we recently were able to replace two of them. However, the other two are getting old. They grind a lot of targets. It becomes more expensive for us to maintain the machines. We're constantly repairing them, and also they also are a little bit more dangerous to work with, so the safety's a consideration as well. And then finally, our last goal for the project is to obtain a really kind of a cool state-of-the-art lighting system with all the equipment that goes with it for our five stand. And I will get into that in just a little bit. I'll expand on that a bit more. So essentially, I broke this down into three categories. Over here on the left, that is where we were talking about our new the two new pat traps. So we have 4 trap fields right here in this area. The entrance to the club is right here, and so people will park and hang out at the clubhouse. And then we have a brand new machine on trap 1 and trap 3. However, our trap 2 and 4 are getting very, very old. And like I mentioned, they need to be replaced eventually. And we thought this would be a great opportunity for us um, to replace these machines. Some of the ones we're looking at have wobble as well as doubles features. So that would expand our ability to throw different style of targets too. The next one is those matrix, the 25 matrix machines. And as you can see, those would be slated to be put around this entire course following this yellow line. We would use them in various different places in the course, but I'll also talk about this in health and safety. But when we get this many machines out here, we won't have to move them around as much, so they'll last a little bit longer. It's a little bit safer to use, and then ultimately, we can expand the access of our course to all level of shooters. And I'll mention this a little bit more, but it's a great opportunity to get a lot of different style shooters together. And finally, over here on our five stand in purple, this is where our five stand is. We currently have 8 machines out there, and we just have standard lights out there. The lights we're trying to get are, and again, I'll still go into a little more detail in that part of it, but they're specialty lights they're basically black lights, and with the white flyer targets that are glow in the dark. They glow in the dark, and then you shoot, and it looks like kind of 4th of July. It's really getting popular, and it's kind of the next phase for five stand. Again, in the expansion and renovation, really just does consist of acquiring those 2 new trap machines, the 25 sporting clay machines, and all the purchase and the installation of these specialty glow in the dark targets. So essentially that covers the whole needs of what our project consists of. Health and safety, I mentioned it before, but you can see we have a person, our trap mechanic here is working on this, but we have a ton of these machines. We have to hook them up to side by sides, pull them around the club. And when sometimes, when they get old, they're heavy to move. And they do get finicky. We've had some injuries based on people working on these machines. Furthermore, when the machines aren't tuned and working properly, they tend to break targets, and sometimes those can shoot debris on our customers, which is not a safe idea. And then the other I think the other main safety feature is not having to move the machines around as much as we normally do. Would be a huge help for safety. Heavy lifting, they're very heavy. Putting them on side by sides, moving them around. You have to be very, very careful with doing that, and I do believe this would reduce the risk to safety. So budget and development. Essentially, the 25 machines that we would like for our sporting clay course are up $3,200. and that's with the buttons with the wheels to roll them around. 25 total, and again, those will be going around our sporting clay course. A total cost would be 80,000 for those 20 machines. Yeah. And so our the pat traps, including all the accessories, when we did the estimate before this was submitted, it was 10,000. Oh, I'm sorry, there's a typo there. This was 10,300. Oops, sorry about that. $10,345 each. So a total of $20,690. And the whole advanced lighting system it does cost $25,000, but that's broken. I would like to break that down a little bit more. The light, we're looking at 8 lights plus the can units. That's a total of 18,000. To put the poles to stand the lights on is going to cost us an estimated another 5,000 for 23,000 total. And all the wiring needed is an estimated another $2,000 for that. So that's how we estimated the cost. Mandated issues, we do partner with a lot of folks. We still doing our Boy Scout shoot every year. We partner with Ducks Unlimited. The 4-H has frequently used our facility in the past. We've partnered with Hunter's Ed in the past when they have been partnered with us before they started doing it all online. But we also host many community events like annual turkey shoots, trap shoots that are open to the public. We're always open for the public for open hours. We have a trap shoot that goes on every month, 6 times a year, like a winter series. And we also do national sporting clay tournaments the third Sunday of every month. It is NSCA registered, but it's also open to the public. And we're always open to exploring new things like working with any educational groups, any youth shooters or youth shooting programs, college, high school level. And of course, we're always open to law enforcement that would like to train and use our facility for any training. Need satisfaction. I think it's kind of 3 ways on their need satisfaction. We'll start with the sporting clay course. As I was saying, to have 3 machines at each station for a beginner, intermediate, and kind of an expert level target. It can get a lot of parents and kids shooting together, but it also can bring like more experienced shooters, people that have shot registered tournaments or shot a lot of sporting clays. They can introduce their friends to it, and people won't just they will be able to learn the how to shoot sporting clays on the beginner hill, so to speak. It's kind of hard to go right from not doing it to the really super hard targets. But we do have a lot of folks that come out to train on our at our club so they can compete at the more tournaments where the targets are a little bit harder. But for us to be able to introduce, that's would be very helpful. Also, the 2 new pat traps would create accessibility for more traps. Sometimes we have to close the ones down because they're not functioning properly. And then the lights that we're getting are high wattage photometric lights that are made to light up a huge area. They're black lights and the targets glow. So we turn the lights off and you throw the targets, they glow in the dark and people shoot them. It's gonna that's a dream of all of our club. We're really excited to bring that in. And so essentially what we're asking for is a total project estimated at $124,000, 810 cents. Our contribution would be $62,405. We're asking for a match of the same for the total funding. And I think that's all I had.
Thank you very much, Reed.
Yes.
Are there questions or comments from team members? give folks a chance to just take a quick look and see if there's something else they need clarification about. Reed, I'm just going to go back in your slides because when you were walking us through the scope of work, you had a really nice graphic like this one on project design where you were walking through each thing. And I think I just missed the slide that showed the facilities because the little graphics cover up the actual. So did you have one that shows those ranges?
Yes.
And just tell me if you know what slide I should go to because you don't have control anymore.
I am not sure which slide is
Let
or
me go
not.
forward and see.
Okay, so this one, this is where the sporting clay course is. The one on the bottom right is part
Uh-huh.
of where the one of the areas where the corresponding yellow line would be.
Okay.
And then this
Gotcha.
one here, the one where the person's working on the machine, that's
Mhm.
in out in that field is where those specialty lights will be placed. The
Okay.
5 centimeters. And then there should be another one of our trap fields.
Let me see if there's one.
Yeah, and then the one here on the left, on this slide,
Mhm.
what they're shooting at is our trap field, so they're kind of standing on the side there.
Okay.
And then here again, this one on the left is a really great picture of our trap field. The gentleman in green.
Mhm.
That's a you can see it. That's exactly where those 2 traps will go in those little greenhouses. And then the one on the second from the right,
Mhm.
that's our sporting clay course too. There's 2 people standing there in a cage, and that's around the yellow area where we'd like to put those 25 machines.
So, we really appreciate the pictures that help to show when people are actually out there using the facilities. So that's always great. Rex, I think you have a question or comment.
Yeah, hey Reed, is your sporting clay course is already established, right? You're just using the machines to have more permanent placement of them.
Permanent placement offer like basically offer super sporting at each station. Yeah. So yeah, just basically in addition, there's no land expansion here. It's just adding a third machine. We could actually go up to 17 or 18 stations as well. So there's a couple different options what we have here. But yeah, no property addition, just additional equipment.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments? Well, Reed, thank you very much. It looks like you've answered all the questions for everybody. We hope to be able to share with you. We're going to tabulate scores. I think you are the last person for the day. And we're going to tabulate scores, and then hopefully those scores will be available after we meet next week. So you'll be able to check in with your grants manager, see how you ranked, and at least we'll be able to give you that step. So thanks once again. We appreciate it and look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Team
Have a
members,
nice day.
thank you. Team members, just give us just a second and we will sign off. For those of you who have been watching, you've been watching the Firearms and Archery Range Recreation Program evaluations. This is the grants program where we provide grants for training and practice facilities for those that are interested in our shooting sports. I am Marguerite Austin with the Recreation and Conservation Office, and we are signing off for today. This happens to be our last project and our last presentation. To learn more about the grants we have to offer, I encourage you to visit our website at www.rco.wa.gov. We will be taking these lists and sharing this list with our board at their April meeting. Hopefully, they will approve the ranked list. And then in June, the Recreation and Conservation Funding Board will actually award grants. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and we look forward to seeing you online in the not too distant future. Goodbye.
Marguerite, you're muted still. Okay.